Nurburgring Nordschleife hosted 22 Formula 1 GPs since 1951 until 1976, the period that ended in that horrific crash of Niki Lauda. A lot has changed since then, so what if Formula 1 decided to go back to the green hell? My name is Paul, and I go by Thunder. Welcome to my channel. The other day, I read some interesting discussion about Monaco GP and how it isn't suited anymore for F1 races due to the size and speed of current F1 bodies. That made me actually wondering about some reverse scenario. What if F1 ever considered going back to the green hell? True story. Anyways. Personally, I don't think it would ever happen due to safety concerns and logistic reasons, but I thought, why not to start Assetto Corsa, feel the grid with Formula Alpha 2024 and test it on my own? Let's get to it.
There's a storm coming. We meet again to witness a spectacle like no other. This great endeavour to collect the greatest drivers on Earth and place them in competition has taken place for over a century. But 75 years ago, a world championship was created. The journey to crown the greatest driver on Earth began. We continue this incredible sporting story. This is no game. This, my friends, is a race. Welcome to the greatest test of sport that we have. Welcome to Formula One. McLaren look to win this race for the first time ever. They are on pole with Oscar Piastri. These are the tyres available to the teams. The C3, the C2 and the C1 at the harder end of the Pirelli range. Tyre deck is going to be massive. Keeping your tyres alive is going to be oh so important. We await the grid for the fourth round of the year. We go from the back to the front, where we will find Oliver Bearman really struggling to understand the car so far this weekend, and Lance Stroll out in Q1 for the second race in a row. Gabriel Bortoleto is in 18th next to Liam Lawson, who had a bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn 10 and accidentally shut his DRS. Nico Hulkenberg is in 16th after his time was deleted 45 minutes after he went beyond the white lines. He's next to Alex Albon. Williams quite aggrieved at that. Esteban Ocon found the barriers. Fernando Alonso is in 13th. He's a two-time winner around this circuit. Isaac Hadjar's worst start of the year tells you how well he's taken to Formula One. Jack Doohan's best start in Formula One in 11th. Yuki Tsunoda put 2 Red Bulls in Q3 for the first time this year. Lewis Hamilton despondent after not having the pace of his teammate. Carlos Sainz is best of the season, a superb 8th. Max Verstappen's worst of the season in 7th. Lando Norris was expected to be on the front row. He was 6th and struggling for answers. Kimi Antonelli's best start in Formula One is P5. Pierre Gasly is in 4th place. That's the 3rd time he's put a car here in the top 5. Both Mercedes, 1 place grid penalty for some boring admin, and your front row is Charles Leclerc, and he is behind Oscar Piastri.
cannot believe it.
Me neither, mate. maximum pace.
I cannot push any harder than this.
That's it, mate. Well done. I think that's my favourite one.
Yeah, I take this one.
Nurburgring Nordschleife hat Nurburgring Nordschleife Nurburgring Nordschleife Nurburgring Nordschleife was that Nurburgring the Nurburgring